Jalen Hurts secured himself generational wealth. We're talking an extension worth 5 years of $255 million,
$1 million.
179 guaranteed. A quarter of a billion for the next 5 years was guaranteed to Jalen Hurts. And it's funny to me, just 4 years ago, Carson Wentz was being given the biggest extension, the biggest contract in NFL history for a quarterback. 4 years, $148 million, within a year already on his deal. I mean, the highest paid quarterback in the league ahead of Russell Wilson. The Eagles saw how that went with Wentz. After 2020, so right as the contract started, hit the fan pretty quickly. But they escaped that and found a quarterback in Jalen Hurts that has an intangible Carson Wentz never did. He has the same physical tools, albeit 2 inches shorter. But with Jalen Hurts, there is a drive, a competitive stamina, and a level of failure that's great in MVP. I like to think that failure often drives people more than success, the fear of failing. And for him to get benched at Alabama in the national championship game, transferring to Oklahoma, buying in and getting accepted as a leader for two different elite programs, something he talked about in his pre-draft interview that went viral. There is an energy, not an aura, but a leadership and an intangible to Jalen Hurts that makes him worth every penny they just spent. Because when he ages and he's not this elite, superb athlete at 30 years old, like a Cam Newton, right? As you get to that age, I still think he's going to be the absolute perfect face of the Philadelphia Eagles because he represents everything that they strive to have in a quarterback. I think he is the perfect leader to have. And as a football fan, I wanted the Steelers to take this guy. I was praying they took him. And my brother Joe told me, fucking idiot, he's running back. I'm like, okay, we'll see. And he was a running back coming out of college. He was not much of a thrower of the football. Since that Heisman caliber season, what has he done? Gotten better and better. And his third season, he was the runner-up to Patrick Mahomes. He went to the Super Bowl and arguably outplayed Mahomes. I mean, man, this was so awesome to see him get paid.
Yeah, it's good for Philly jumping on that. We spoke about this contract extension earlier in the season about what Philly should do here, and like he was pay him early because these contracts are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I mean, the guy proved to you already that he's a franchise guy, leading you to the Super Bowl, plays away from winning you a Super Bowl. Um, I would say if if the Super Bowl MVP didn't go to just the winner, he won it. He showed out in that game, and we know what Jalen Hurts is. He's an absolute dog. And John, you hit the nail on the head when you said, it's that competitive fire that he brings. You're driven by failure, you're driven by your losses, and he goes out there day in and day out, and he shows you that he belongs in this league. He belongs as the number one. There's no debate anymore about whether or not he's the guy in Philadelphia, and rightfully so. He deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Jalen Hurts, shout out the agent. I think it's actually the first ever black woman to ink a deal for a quarterback, or I forget what that was, but shout out to both of them. Um, Listen, I was the one who was more down on Jalen Hurts coming this season. That I didn't believe he was a very consistent thrower of the football at a high level. I know he made strides, not last year but the year before, and he's obviously made more incredible strides this year. I still am. I'm not hesitant, but I just want to see it again. I want to see another year of this, him doing it at the highest level, and see if he can continue it. And I have no qualms with him getting this contract. It's well earned, well deserved. One question is, I mean, now the quarterback's paid. Let's see if they can keep this team together going forward. And if they're not, which I'm kind of predicting that they're not going to be able to keep this level of talent that they have around them, we'll see if Jalen Hurts is still being able to play at this elite level. But I think the biggest thing about this contract is how it affects the Lamar situation. Because, listen, I think the Ravens even have a better case now of saying, Lamar, the Deshaun Watson contract is the outlier here. I mean, look at Kyler Murray, look at Jalen Hurts, 184 guaranteed, 179 guaranteed. Ian Rappaport just reported, I think, right when this contract was signed for Jalen Hurts, that there was I guess a $200 million guaranteed contract for Lamar. Now I don't know if that was a re-report from the report that Schefter had back in September, where he said there was a contract where basically it could get up to $200 million guaranteed. I don't know if that's the same contract or if it's a new contract. But Lamar, it's and I heard reports, I guess, that Lamar said, "Go sign Hopkins and OBJ, then we can talk." And the Ravens said, "Well, we can get one of them, but we can't get both of them." And they went out and they got OBJ. So I just think Lamar is coming back to Baltimore. I don't know what the contract situation is going to be out there. I think he's going to be able to get 175, 180 at least guaranteed. But yeah, I just think it means more for the Lamar situation, how it impacts that.
Also, I don't think people realize this. The Jalen Hurts extension does not prohibit the Eagles. Well, he just became the highest paid quarterback in APY average, percentage per year. He's only making $6 million this year in 2023. Next year, his cap hit is just $13 million. On the first year of his contract, that's going to make him an Eagle of 2028. He's making just $13 million. And his cap hit, that's all it affects. His third year in 2025, this is going to be his sixth year in the league. He's only going to be making his cap. He'll be $21 million. It's not until he back into that deal where he'll be making upwards to a lot more in that hit. And it's also not fully guaranteed contract either. So unlike the Deshaun Watson deal where there's no void years to extend the contract and then kind of back out of it, with this Hurts deal, man, it extends their championship window, elongates it in a way, stretches it where not too many quarterbacks can. So this was another Howie Roseman masterclass, truly. I'm very impressed with him and his ability to not only hire the right people to make the right trades, though they weren't the best drafting team the last couple of years, but also move off players at the right time and pick and choose what quarterback you want to build around. You moved off Carson Wentz and you got a second round day 2 pick. It's pretty good. Pretty good for a quarterback that since then has fallen off a cliff.